Guys, thanks for coming back. Aaron Pascucci here. So excited to be with you guys. Working on getting my little studio set up. We're working with a new camera here, and we're looking at doing a little bit of graphics stuff in Photoshop. So today we're going to take a photo. You've probably heard of pixels or Unsplash. We're going to go find whatever photo you want there. We're going to look at cutting it out and applying some filters. Now, since I am a huge guy into graphics and t-shirt stuff, we're going to take that photo that's been manipulated and we're going to bring it into Adobe Illustrator, and then we're going to kind of finish it off there, and then we'll finish off this video by doing a quick mock-up. Alright guys, here we are in Photoshop. I grabbed an image from unsplash.com. You know, I always look at inspiration, find it in everything. Been really obsessed with birds lately, and again that cyberpunk aesthetic. So I saw this, which is very noir and you know, dark looking, and thought, you know, why don't we brighten this up and make a cooler image there? So unsplash.com, if you're unfamiliar, take a look at this. All right, unsplash.com, take a look at this. So I got introduced to this. If you haven't found him yet and you're interested in graphics and t-shirt stuff like I am, Charlie Pingus, great guy. He just launched his Design Academy series, so go check it out. All right, this is a great royalty-free image source. They do have paid-for images. They do tend to be a little bit better. So I just typed in Raven, and you can see what comes up. You can see up here, these are all the premium images, and you can see that some of them have really nice, clean backgrounds. They're just a lot better and easier to work with there. Look at this guy right here. All right, you can scroll down here and see some of them as well. I'm not even sure which one I pulled. Oh, here it is. This is one I pulled out. Really just liked the way that the body was sitting and the way he was looking there. And in my head, I've got a little bit of an idea that I'm going to put some glowing shapes behind here as well. So go ahead, you can click this and download that. I've already done that. Alright guys, so we're back in Photoshop here. We've got our flat image. If you haven't done so, this probably says background. You'll just want to double click that and change the name to anything. So I'm just going to put it back as layer 1 so that I know. Alright, now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cut out this raven here, because I don't want any of this background. I just want the raven itself. So to do that, I'm going to use the quick selection tool. I like this a lot. You can really use whatever. Now, if you're up here, you can see, you probably can't even see that. My mouse is so little, so I'm going to go bump up the size there. You can see it's at 7. Oh, let's go to, that's a little bit better. That's pretty good. Okay, you can see I've got a line there. It's already selecting. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to get most of this body. Okay, this is why I like this tool. You can see here that it's already got most of the raven there, all the way around the edges. You can see it's kind of hit the feathers a lot. Now that I'm zoomed in, I'm going to drop my brush size down. I'm going to go little. So I'm just going to kind of refine this. Now, one thing I always forget is in between shapes like this, it's already selecting those. It's got this whole area. So to negatively select on them, you're going to hold the Option key or the Alt key on which platform you've got, and you're just going to kind of add it in there, just like we did the last time. There you go. You see it pictured really nicely in there. If you want to be nitpicky, you can zoom in really far and see.
We've made our selection. Now, if you haven't already, what you're going to need to do is copy this image, because we're going to make a couple different copies and apply a couple different filters there. So I'm just going to click here, Control V or Command V is going to paste. If it pastes off center for you, you can either leave it or you can just kind of move it. You know, it's pretty easy to pop it back right where your other one is. Now what we're going to do here then is we're going to convert this to a smart object. So we're going to go to Layer, Smart Objects, Convert to Smart Objects. Bada bing. Now, once we got that, we're going to apply a Gaussian blur. Filter, blur, and then you're going to go to Gaussian blur. Now with this up here, you've got the option of adjusting this. The way that this works is you're going to create different gradients or different levels of your blur to kind of create that glowing effect. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to hit 8, very low value there. All right. Then we're going to copy this entire layer, and we're just going to modify the next Gaussian blur. So again, you can double click the appearance option there in the layer, and it'll bring you right up here. Now then you're going to bring this up a little bit. A couple of the videos I was watching on this technique, just bump it up to 60. You can really choose any number, and I'd urge you to experiment with those. So you can see here that the bird is now kind of starting to blur, and you can kind of see that it's almost kind of fanning out a little bit. Now we're going to do this one more time, and we're going to make it much bigger. All right. Gaussian blur, let's go up to 250. All right, now what we're going to do then is group all of these together. Now I'm going to add one more concept here, and I'll show you why when we're done. I'm going to create one more copy of my bird there. Now we're going to take that guy, we're just going to hide him for now. It's going to go behind the screen. We're going to take our 3 adjustment layers here, hold Shift, and you're going to then hit Command G, and you're going to group them together. So now we've got a group, we've got our background there, and we've got our blurry looking raven there. Now with the group here, I'm going to add an adjustment layer. So we're going to do hue and saturation. Now what this is going to bring up is this kind of color scheme here. Now you want to apply this to your image, and you're not adjusting those, so you're going to click colorize. You can already see that it took some default there and kind of moved it around. You can pick any color you want. Okay, take a blue, adjust kind of the saturation a little bit. That's looking pretty nice. I like that deep blue there. So let's go with that. Just play a little bit and see how that looks. This is going to kind of create your contrast and stuff. If you're not careful, you can kind of lose some details. So play around with these a little bit and see where it is you like these to go. Oh, that purple looks cool. Let's stay there. Now, what we're going to do then is make sure that this layer is attached to the group so it's not applying to every layer below it. So if you hold Option and move your mouse right between the 2 layers, you'll see that little arrow there. And now you see that it's only affecting this guy. Put my extra copy on top so I've got a nice crisp image here that is colorized and working well here. The last thing you want to make sure you do is on this top layer, you want to set it to linear dodge. That's just going to change the way it blends there. So with all of this done, what I'm going to do is remove my back layer there. So you've got just the bird and you've got the nice glow. Now, like I said, we're going to move this into Illustrator. So I'm going to, first of all, save this. I'm going to export it. And I want to do a JPEG because I don't want the background there. So you could do quick export. I don't like that as much, so I just always do export as. And we're going to hit export. And I save all my projects onto my desktop right now. So if you were just looking to figure out this glow effect for Photoshop, you can stop here. If you want to see how I'm going to apply this to another project, go ahead and take a look at the rest of this video. Just for props and bonus points, I took my original, and here's the green one I took. See how the background is blurred out here? If you really want to, take your original layer. Once you've got your selection made, you're going to apply a color lookup layer. So if you look down here, you'll find it under an adjustment layer here. If you look down here, you'll find it under a adjustment layer. It's right here. That'll bring it up. And then in these options here, this top one is going to have moonlight. That's going to dim everything down to get that nice background there that you're looking at. It's going to really make your image pop.
We're going to create a new file. So we're going to go to Create New. We're going to create a custom one. I made it 1024 by 1024. It's just a box. We're going to go up and we're going to place our image. File place. Looks pretty good. We're just going to resize this a little bit. So I'm going to hold Shift to scale it. We want to add a little bit of context to this image. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a simple shape, and we're going to make this look a little bit better there. I'm going to take the rectangle tool. I'm then going to select the polygon tool. This is going to bring up my little dialog box. I want a triangle, so it's only got 3 sides. There it is. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. First thing we're going to do is cut out the middle there, no fill. We're going to create a little bit bigger of a stroke there. I'm going to put it right here. I want to see it go through the head of the raven there, and that's going to get the effect I want to do. Take my layers, and I'm going to lock up this raven here because I don't want to move it, so we're going to just hit the lock there. And the first thing we're going to do is take the pen tool. We're going to add an anchor point. With our triangle here, we've added our anchor point here. We're going to press C, and that's going to go to the cut tool. Let's zoom in here. You can see I've added my anchor point. I press this with the cut tool. Can't see anything, but it is going to cut those 2 sides. Now, take your selection tool. You can see here, now I've got that. I'm going to bring this right up to the edge of the raven's head. Bring this up to the other side. Zoom in and check it. And I can go a little bit further there. So we'll just do that. In our layers panel, we can also do this. We can drop that behind the bird image. And that creates that nice effect there. Why do we do that? You want to give your image a little bit of depth to make it more interesting. So this looks like the bird is now sitting through the triangle. Its feet are above it here. Triangle's going below it here, and then the head's going above it here. You can use any shape. I just like the triangle for this one. So let's do this. First thing we're going to do, convert this to white, because we're going to also apply the neon effect to this. Now with that selected, we're going to do our Gaussian blur again. So go down to blur, Gaussian blur, and we're going to go up. 10 sounds good. Really with this blur, guys, it's whatever you want. So we're going to copy this. Command C, paste in place, Shift Command V. You can see that it kind of got blur there. Now I don't like that, so I'm going to go adjust that right now before I forget. You can double click in your appearance panel, and I'm going to drop this down to like 5. It's a little bit more. Let's drop it down again. I'm just going to go to like 1. I want it really dense but a little bit fuzzy. All right, that's perfect. Now we're going to paste our new one. We're going to color this. So you can choose any color you want. Let's pull up our panel. You want a color that's going to go with your purple. So you could do a green or maybe a yellow orange. Let's try orange and see what that looks like. Actually, I'm going to do a purple. Pretty stereotypical is this purple color for the cyberpunk aesthetic I want. There you go. So let's check the number here. It's at 10. Let's drop this to 5. It's a little bit more dense. Again, we're just going to copy and paste this through the end. So I'm going to whip through this, and you guys are going to see how that glow develops. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of... All right, so I just added a bunch of blurs there. Let's make the last one pretty big. We want it to really be glowing there. Now let's zoom out, take a look at this from a distance. That looks pretty good. You can also just alter this. The density, based on the amount of blur you've got, is going to affect it. You can also just go ahead and place different colors within this neon glow here. For our original white one, I want to make that a little bit more dense. Sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up where I'm going. There's just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Ooh, that sugar. That sugar sweet. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights.
Artlist.io.
What we're going to do is we're going to open Photoshop again. So here's my template there that I use quite a bit. Let's make it a little bit bigger, and let's open up our layers and make that there. So you can see it's just a t-shirt here. Got a previous design on there, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that guy. So we got a clean slate. Actually, let's just delete that. So I got a previous design on here that I was making and submitting there. So we're going to just get rid of that, and we're going to copy and paste a new layer in. If you go to your t-shirt design there, click it up here or down here. Is this. Last thing we're going to do is this. We are going to grab all of this and we're going to pull it into a template. So first thing, make sure all of your layers are unlocked. Make sure everything is visible. Copy everything. Now, easiest thing to do, grab a template from somewhere. This was one I found. It was free. It's really good. And here we go. Now we want to replace this image. So you kind of just cruise through here and see what you want to do. So your design here, you can see there's a little smart object there. See this little thumbnail here? You want to double click that and it's going to take you to where you put your image. All right, here's the original image. So instead of deleting this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer. Now we're going to not view this. We're going to paste it as a smart object. There you go. Now we want to resize this so it fills our entire area there. This one has a nice safe area. So to change the design here, what you're going to do is you are going to select the already embedded smart object here. You can see that in this corner here, you've got a little thumbnail. We're going to double click that. That brings us to a new screen where they've got their filters set up to pop whatever image is in there onto the other one. You can see it's sitting right there. So let's create a new layer. We're just going to paste. We want it to be a smart object. And there it is. We're going to save it. And then up here, you're going to just click that and you can see it right there. Quick mop-up, you can save this as a PNG. You can export this to do what you want with. Guys, thanks for staying with me. Aaron Pascucci again. Do the like, subscribe, share with your friends. Check out the comments if you got any. And go ahead and download those templates and those project files. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.